All right, let's call to order the North Aurora Village Board meeting of Monday, October 15th, 2018. And we'll open with silent prayer meditation. Please join me in Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Steve, could you do the role of the village clerk on our roll calls this evening?
Sure. Okay, can I have a roll call of attendance, please? Trustee Gately? Here. Trustee Martinez? Here. Trustee Carroll is absent. Mayor Berman?
Here.
Trustee Curtis?
Here.
Trustee Lowry?
Here.
And Trustee Gaffino?
Here.
Audience comments. I have 3. Jeff Lerner. Like to speak, come to the microphone and state your name and address. And
Jeff Lerner, 263 Ridge Road, North Aurora.
what is it you'd like to speak about?
I live on the street that is behind what used to be a golf course. And the construction started about a week or 2 ago. And they are out there early. And that's not a problem. They usually start all their equipment, 6:30, 7 o'clock, and they're out there. But they are out till 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night. And I've called and asked about what the rules are, and the rules are that they're allowed to be out there till 9 o'clock at night, Monday through Sunday, and they're doing so. And is there any way that you guys can discuss it to see if that could end at 6 or 7 o'clock on work days, so I'm not listening to this machinery going back and forth till 8, 8:30, 9 o'clock with their lights on, and it just got kids that go to school and people that are going to work, and they're right on our backyard. You can't stand on your deck and talk to somebody next to you. Stop.
All right.
So they have lights on the tractors and they're doing site work
Yep,
till 9 o'clock?
till 9 o'clock.
Yeah, that's pretty late, in my opinion. Should be discussed. I mean, it's dark at 7.
They were working yesterday. I was over there. They were working yesterday, I know. I wasn't over there at 9 o'clock at night, but I was there at noon.
Well, I live across from there. I don't live on Ridge, I live on Doral, and I work out of my house and I can hear them. And I was telling Steve the same thing. I'm about a block away and I could still hear them with my windows open. So I do feel your pain.
Yeah.
Steve, do we have any recourse on this to limit the time that they can?
Oh,
Yeah,
ordinance.
we'd have to amend our ordinance. So we have a current construction ordinance.
Yeah.
This came up several years ago about changing the construction hours back in 2010. Before my time, but we did some research based on some of the complaints we got. We looked at other towns in our area, so it's actually, the start time at 6 is on the early end, but there are several others that are at 6. Most towns start around 7 a.m. on the weekdays. The end times, right now, Monday through Saturday, we end at 9 o'clock. On Sundays, they can work till 6 p.m. That's pretty common. Aurora's 9, Batavia's 9. Montgomery is 8 o'clock at night. Naperville is 7. Oswego is 10. South Elgin is 9. St. Charles is 7. Sugar Grove is 8:30. West Chicago is 8. And Yorkville is 10. So it doesn't mean if the board would like to relook at that, we can. We just have to amend our ordinance.
Or instead of amending, couldn't we just call and say, could you guys be good neighbors? If there, we've had several complaints, would you be able to do it? I mean, certainly 9 o'clock is late, but I'd be fine with 8 o'clock. It seems like that seems to be the predominant time in the surrounding areas. Naperville seems like they're a little on the low end with the 7
St.
o'clock.
Charles, too. They're 7, too.
The St. Charles one is specific to residential area.
So like 7 o'clock, I'm thinking. 7 o'clock is dark.
Well, right, but we also don't, the longer that we restrict them, the longer it's going to take for them to finish up the development as well. I mean, time is money and maximizing profitability.
Right, I get it. So you're thinking 8?
Well, it seems like that seems to be the predominant time for the local communities, 8 o'clock, and 8 o'clock is certainly reasonable.
Well, we won't be sitting out on the decks too much anymore, I don't think.
Well, that's what I was going to say. It's
Our
like when
weather's
it gets to be
changing.
spring again.
Yeah.
And you want to sit outside, and it's nice out till 7, 8, 9
Well,
o'clock.
and I feel your pain, but unfortunately, you now live adjacent to a construction site, and it's probably going to be like this for 3 to 5 years, possibly 4 years, however long it takes you to build out.
I had if I could interrupt for a second here. I had a conversation with D.R. Horton. Majority of the site work or the grading is going on right now, and it happened to be starting on the south side, which is in your backyard. I did bring up some of the concerns from neighbors, which we've been in contact with a lot of the HOA residents and board, and I just got a sense of where they're at right now. They are trying to finish up the south side grading in October. I spoke to them last week, and they're saying that they want at least bring another 4 weeks to finish up the grading on the south side, and then they're going to move north. As the development progresses to the north portion of the property, so it will eventually move away from your property naturally. There will be work conducted in that area, streets, underground, things of that nature. But the heavy equipment and machinery right now associated with the grading will be moving north naturally as the development progresses.
So my suggestion is, Mike and I have talked about this several times. So because the mass grading, because they're doing this so quickly to try to get this in before the winter, so it's set, the construction of the units of the homes obviously won't start for a few more months at least, most likely not until spring. At which time, what I would do is we can always reach out to D.R. Horton and ask if they can, stop earlier, if there's any way, if that's going to screw up their schedule, whatnot. Because obviously, the faster, it's like ripping off the Band-Aid. It might be better to just get it done and be done with it, so it's done and not dragging on too long. But then we can always talk about the actual construction hours for when the subdivision itself is being built. For the next 3 years or so when the homes are actually being constructed. We can have that conversation. That doesn't have to happen immediately. That can happen over the next couple months if the board wants to relook at those construction hours. But in the meantime, I say go with what Mike was saying. Call D.R. Horton again, ask as a courtesy, see if we can do that. My only fear is if you ask them to cut an hour off of the time, that means they're going to try to start at 6 a.m., which is what they can do. But they haven't. They've been starting at 7.
Well, I think people want to go to bed. Well, some people go to bed at 9 o'clock or 10, or I don't know. And if they're going till 9 now, I'd rather, just my opinion, that they probably would be better off starting early and knocking off early. I think
Well, there's some people who don't get up at 7 also.
Well, then there's our people. I mean, 9 o'clock at night's a long time to hear a tractor. I mean, I'm sorry, 9 o'clock's a long, that's a long night, a day to hear a tractor.
The
Sounds
best
like a
thing
10.
is it's not going to go on forever. So I hopefully it's going to be a short period of time and it'll be all over. Right now we hear all the roofers putting roofs on all day long. So,
Yeah, no,
there's always going to be something. But
it's different. The tractor is a little louder.
Yeah.
you also had another question or another item?
The question I just had is I lived in Aurora, and they used to have I'm new to North Aurora, I moved here in February. They used to have an ordinance where people weren't allowed to park on the street from 2 to 5 in the morning, and it was a real safety feature. Because if something's going to happen, so police would see a car out on the street at 3 o'clock in the morning, and there was an issue. You don't have that here. Is that
No.
something you've ever considered?
We've discussed it many times.
Yeah, I personally wouldn't. I have 2 teenagers, but we have 4 cars and a 2-car garage, so we do park on the street, and there's a lot of families in similar situations. I don't see how it would be very convenient for people who have multiple vehicles. And
They do it in Batavia also. But we've talked about it. We've never come to the decision that we would do it. So whether or not
Thought
it's
I'd
going
bring it up. It
whether-
was
yeah.
something that, when I lived in Aurora, it was just a nice, I felt it was a nice safety feature. If you saw a car on the street in the middle of
Well,
the night, you'd
you know,
question it sometimes.
parking is a real problem for us. It is all over.
All right, I
It is in my neighborhood. It's everywhere.
Thank you.
People have big families. Everybody has to have a car anymore. And when I have 4 daughters, and I remember when there was at least 4 or 5 cars around. Some of the apartments we have that are 2-car garages that are filled up with junk, and they don't have enough room to park their cars in front of the garages, so they have to park their cars in the streets. And even places where our ordinance says we have to have apartments, we have the 2 per, or is it 1 point something per unit? But anyway, it's a problem, and it wasn't a problem 20 years ago, but it's a significant problem now.
Now, your
Thank you.
subdivision may have
Yeah.
your subdivision, is there a subdivision where you live?
He lives on Ridge Road.
Ridge Road.
Right behind the construction site.
Okay, so you don't have subdivision bylaws or any of that?
Well, they don't,
The
Doesn't have the
bylaws of
covenants.
the HOA, they wouldn't cover public
it wouldn't
roads.
cover public streets.
Anyways, we'll work on your issue.
Yeah,
All righty, thank you very much.
thank you.
Thank you.
Tom Casey, is it?
Tom's associated with item number 4 on the agenda tonight.
Oh, okay.
He's signed, I think he's signed.
And Rod Feast.
It's impressive.
Hi, my name is Rod Feast. I'm with Blackberry Township Road District. I'm the highway commissioner there, and I came before this board, not the same board, but the North Aurora board probably about 15 years ago. We are trying to run a road district referendum for the, to create some more money to be able to keep up with the maintenance of our unincorporated area of Blackberry Township. I've been to the village of Elburn and gotten their support. More of Elburn is in our township than North Aurora, but if I can show this map to everybody, this tan area, the tan area is Blackberry Township, 6 by 6, 36 square miles. The area that's pink in the northwest corner is the village of Elburn. This yellow shaded area down here is in our northeast corner, or southeast corner, I'm sorry, which is the village of North Aurora. Every taxpayer in these subdivisions pay a Blackberry Township Road District tax. I know it's hard to kind of coach somebody to say that a Blackberry Township Road District tax will benefit you because they're on village streets, and a lot of them probably don't even know what Blackberry Township is, but they probably use some of the adjoining roads like Norris Road and CV Road. The tax increase we're looking for would be $80 a year on a $300,000 house. And how state statute works, any incorporated area in Blackberry Township like that, for every dollar they are taxed to the road district, half of that comes back to the village of North Aurora. Right now, about $67,000 comes back to the village of North Aurora for this area that is incorporated. If the tax increase were to pass, it would create approximately another $27,000 to the village of North Aurora. I know that's probably not huge money or anything, but if there is a benefit to North Aurora, a little bit of this referendum does pass. And again, it's a tough sell when you live on a village street and the township doesn't take care of that street or anything else, but I just kind of want to get the word out there, and a little support or anything like that, appreciate it, and just wanted to kind of get the word out there. It's on the November ballot, and if there's any questions anybody's got, I'll be more than happy to answer them.
So it's on the Blackberry portion of our village ballot?
Yes, nobody else, like if you lived in Aurora Township or whichever ones are in there,
Yeah.
it would not affect. The only people that will have a vote on this Blackberry Township will be the people in these two
Oh, I got it, yeah.
subdivisions right here.
So it's a ballot,
And it doesn't affect any else in the village.
it's a ballot question.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for your time.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, I am moving right along. Trustee comments? Consent agenda,
Motion to approve.
Second.
discussion? Steve, would you call the roll, please?
Let's start this way. Trustee Gately?
Yes.
Trustee Martinez?
Yes.
Trustee Curtis?
Yeah.
Trustee Lowry?
Yes.
And Trustee Gafino?
Yes.
Very good. Under new business, item number 1, Mr. Hanna?
Thank you. Item number 1 is an ordinance approving the first budget amendment for fiscal year 2018-19. This budget amendment concerns modifications to the personnel compensation plan. The first one concerns the record staffing in the police department. A retired employee was held over for some transition and training, and due to increased workloads, has been requested to be retained on a limited basis. So this would be an amendment to the staffing plan for a part-time records clerk position, roughly about 10 hours a week. The second concerns adjustment to the compensation range for one of our employees. We normally look at compensation levels during the budget process. We did not have a chance to gather all the information that we needed to make an adjustment, so we will be making an adjustment going forward for this one specific position. This item was discussed at the Government Operations Committee 2 weeks ago on October 1st.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Steve, would you
I'm
call?
on it. Trustee Gately?
Yes.
Trustee Martinez?
Yes.
Trustee Curtis?
Yes.
Trustee Lowry?
Yes.
And Trustee Gaffino?
Yes.
You can delegate that to anyone else in your staff if you'd like.
It's the first time I've ever called roll.
I know, it's fun, isn't it? Item number 2.
Thank you. Item number 2 is a resolution approving the amendments to the village's investment policy. As the board is aware, the village has had an investment policy governing the investment of village funds for a very long time, roughly 18 years. The main impetus for the amendments brought for you tonight for this policy is the village would like to begin investing in another Illinois investment pool for local governments called Illinois Trust. We'll be required to add that as an authorized vehicle of investments to our investment policy. We've taken this opportunity to also make some other minor tweaks to our investment policy regarding diversification limits for various investments, references to various ethics and conflicts of interest policies, and updating some other items in our investment policy regarding maximum duration of investments and other clarifying language.
Motion approved.
Second.
Discussion? I'll do the roll call. Gaffino?
Yes.
Gately?
Yes.
Martinez?
Yes.
Curtis?
Yes.
Lowry?
Yes.
Item number 3, Bill.
Item number 3 is approval resolution amending our human resources manual. The 2 items in this amendment, one concerns the elimination of one village holiday, President's Day, recognized for employees, and in exchange, giving employees another personal day to take at a days that they designate and determine is in their best interests. This would allow the village to remain open on President's Day for an additional day, facilitate having a board meeting on that night. This has been worked through with the various employee groups, and now we're bringing forward this change so it can be in effect for the upcoming 2019 calendar year. The second change is a tweak to how we charge employees for employee health insurance contributions, really just dealing with when we joined IPBC, they have a plan year beginning July 1st. This would simply reference the employee contributions as of the premiums in effect as of January 1st, since we maintain our health insurance plan year on a calendar year basis.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call. Lowry?
Here. Yes.
Curtis?
Yes.
Gaffino?
Yes.
Gately?
Yes.
Martinez?
Yes.
Item number 4, Mr. Toth.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Item number 4 is approval of a resolution approving Route 31 TIF funding in the amount of $31,885 for Phase 2 environmental testing for the 84 acres of land comprised of the Valley Green Golf Course and the easterly 24-acre property in North Aurora. The property I'm referring to right now is the Valley Green Golf Course, which should be on the monitor here, and the property adjacent to the east and the vacated right-of-way. It's combined at 84 acres of land. It is located in the Route 31 TIF district. The contract buyer developer is looking to do Phase 2 environmental testing for the property. They are requesting 100% of the TIF funds in the amount I have disclosed at $31,885. This request is coming to help the developer identify some potential contamination that may be existing or potentially. The just for anyone, phase one environmental would be more or less on the investigatory side, which is more reporting, but the phase two would be the actual going out and monitoring the water sites, the soil borings, and soil gas measurements. So this would help the developer kind of get a sense of what is the remediation on the site and help the developer move forward for the TIF project. This went before the Operations Committee on October 1st, and answer any questions you might have.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Mike, I believe in the Operations Committee, we were talking about, they had the 3 bids,
Correct.
and we were talking about going with the lowest and letting them pay the difference. This was the low bidder?
Correct. Well, we went with a not to exceeds amount, which is based upon the lowest bid. The developer did have a preferred vendor. The vendor actually has since offered to lower the price to meet the minimum requirement. So the preferred vendor is actually the vendor that is working at this price as shown in the resolution.
Okay, so they did come down on the pricing?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Other discussion? Roll call. Gately.
Yes.
Martinez.
Yes.
Curtis.
Yes.
Lowry.
Yes.
And Gafino.
Yes.
Item, that's, that's it? Old business? No old business? I have nothing to report. Committee reports? Trustee comments? Mr. Administrator.
And just 2 quick things. So I will work with Mike to call D.R. Horton and see what we can figure out about that as far as their times and see if there's any room for them to alleviate that a little bit, and we'll see where that goes. The second thing is the market analysis that we got, the summary analysis for the Route 3156 corner is in. The staff is reviewing it with the consultant. So we plan to try to take that to the board as early as this next meeting. So just to give you an update on that. Thank you.
Very good. Mr. Attorney,
No report.
for our Village Department, Finance, Mr. Hanna. Community Development, Mr. Toth.
No report.
Police, Deputy Chief DeLeo.
No report.
And Public Works, John Laskowski.
No report, Mayor.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're out of here.